Alright, this is take two, cause like I wasn't liking take one. It was so dark, and then I had on like all black, and I had to finagle with the lighting, and this lighting, I gotta figure out how to film. It doesn't help that today is a cloudy fucking day and raining and stuff, but so I had to change. So sorry about my heaving cleavage. I'm not here to do video games, so y'all can focus on my boobs. I wanted to talk about video games because it's been a little while since I talked about video games, and I do still love me some video games. So today we're going to touch on, today is my birthday, which came out last week, Visage, the last two parts of Visage, and I saw at some point while I was not having internet, the trailer for The Last of Us show popped out, and like, I need to talk about that because it looked hot, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So let's start with today is my birthday. So today is my birthday dropped, like, I think last week at some point. And I had actually, it was like shortly after we got internet, and I was trying to get caught up with everything, and I'm watching Nox's channel. I think I had just finished watching Visage, and literally he had posted that today is my birthday 5 minutes later. So, or like 5 minutes after I finished watching the whole Visage thing. So I was like, oh shit, let me watch Today's My Birthday, because I have been keeping tabs on Today's My Birthday. And I have to admit, I don't know what kind of expectations I had for Today is My Birthday, but I really enjoyed Today is My Birthday. It was a lot more in depth than I thought it was at first, because at first it was just like stabby clown trying to kill some man who wandered into some place that he shouldn't have probably fucking wandered into. That was the premise of the two demos they had going on. Not to use quotes, but they were demos, and that was the premise. Stabby fucking clown out to stab some motherfuckers because they walked into the wrong place at the wrong time. So, but they had like cutscenes with like really nicely drawn artwork in it, and then when they introduced the villains of whatever the moment was, they had like a freeze frame picture telling you about them, and it was really good. I enjoyed watching Today's My Birthday, and it had me nervous at a couple points. At some points, they did kind of punch me out of the story a little bit, because the part with the stabby clown stabbing people or threatening to stab some folks, basically, stabby clown came up, and he had a chainsaw, but he was supposed to be dealing in human organ trafficking. So I'm like, wait, getting punched out of the story. I was like, wait a minute. So if you're trafficking human like livers and spleens and shit and hearts and kidneys and what the fuck ever, why are you killing people with a chainsaw? Because I would think the evisceration of somebody with a fucking chainsaw would kind of like rule out you being able to sell viable organs on the black market, because you done chainsaw somebody and ripped up those vital organs with your fucking chainsaw. So what are we doing? So that kind of punched me out of the story a little tiny bit, but it was still fine. I was still okay with it. It still kind of had me at points. Then later on, after you're done dealing with Mr. Human Trafficking organs, because it's like the stabby clown, then the stabby clown's boss, which I think he had like a giant knife or like a giant chainsaw. It was just like, y'all don't know what you're doing on the human organ trafficking front, because y'all fucking up your business, because like, no. But again, I was just like, whatever. So then it was, he gets out of the closed down place, and he ends up in the woods with some weird ass fucking cult. I was like, this poor man, he just going through some shit, and I'm sorry to that man, because it was just like, well, damn, buddy, you just wanted to like honor your dad's memory by going to this closed down busted park, and now you in some shit, and now you got a fucking cult chasing after you. And it was really good. It was really interesting. I enjoyed Today is My Birthday. And then at the end, you had to punch some dude out, and it was hilarious. I enjoyed Today is My Birthday. So my suggestion is, go play and or watch Today is My Birthday, because it was really good. I enjoyed it. I would say I could watch that again because it was fun. It was a fun ride. It wasn't like one of those ones like, okay, well, I'm done with this. Fuck this. But it was a fun ride. It was something that was enjoyable as a whole. So check out Today Is My Birthday. So Visage. The weird, funny part about Visage was I had just said, like, the day before we moved out of the apartment, I was like, damn, what the fuck happened to Visage? I ain't seen Visage going around in a hot fucking minute. It's been a while. Where's Visage? Literally the day before we left. And then I think Noxon had up, I'm getting ready to play Visage or something. I'm like, oh, well, ask and she shall receive. So, but we were moving and then I didn't have internet for 2 fucking weeks. So that goddamn happened. So I finally caught up and finally finished watching the entire, well, I didn't watch all of it back to back, but I did watch Visage and I did watch the Rincon chapter and then the final chapter, which was Dwayne's chapter. Rincon chapter scared the shit out of me because for whatever reason, those people with no eyes fucked me up. They were actually legitimately fucking scary. That actually really got me. And it was a couple points, because I was watching Noxon yet again. There's a couple points where Noxon got fucked up on him. And I was just like, oh shit, this is goddamn creepy. So, honestly, if I had to say, the 2 best chapters of that 4-chapter situation was Rincon's chapter, followed by Dolores' chapter, followed by Lucy's chapter. And the weakest one, Ripley's, believe it or not, is Dwayne's chapter. There were parts of Dwayne's chapter that I genuinely thought were amusing. Like when you're going in the supermarket and you're just buying all this beer and shit. I don't know why they had me on the floor, but I enjoyed him going through the grocery store buying all this beer because he needed beer to help his life out or what the fuck ever. And it was just like, okay. But the thing about the Dwayne chapter was I never got a real sense as to why his life was fucked up. I think the overarching theme, which is probably not good, in fact it isn't good, is that mental health is a bitch. Because all these people, like Lucy had mental health issues. Dolores had mental health issues. The Rincon dude had mental health issues. And I understand that the idea of your brain turning against you in the worst possible way is real scary and real horrifying. But, and I don't think they were trying to make light of it, but it doesn't help when you constantly have, like, antagonists with mental health issues, because it kind of stigmatizes, hello, Raven, it kind of stigmatizes the whole people who have actual mental health struggles. So, I kind of don't really like that aspect of it, but I know why people do it. It's because they have their own fears like with mental, it's nothing worse than your brain turning against you. It's actually one of my fears. Another fear is like a child puppy coming and blowing up my spot. That's another fear, and that fear always happens, and I don't know how to deal with it. But yeah, I can see where it's stuff that bothers people, and you have to put it somewhere. But I really wish they would stop kind of using mental health as a crutch for horror games. Yeah, it's scary. Your brain just like one day just like, well, I'm just gonna do something else now. I'm just gonna make your life real weird and hard. And it's just like, please stop doing that to people. So I can see it. But with that being said, like, I don't get what the fuck Dwayne's problem was. Dwayne just seemed like he just wanted to drink beer, and like his wife was kind of a nag. And I'm not saying he had to shoot his wife and his kids, but I'm saying he could have just shot her or something. Not that I'm advocating violence to women, but like there was like no, Dwayne to me, at least from what I saw, didn't have any genuine issues. He just seemed like he was sick of shit, and like murder and mayhem was his only way out. Like, what happened to your drinking beer? What happened with that? And I think he was popping pills too. Like, I'm not saying escapism is in that way is good, but like, I don't know, like maybe not murder your wife and kids and then kill yourself. As a whole, Dwayne's chapter was kind of the weakest one. And I was just like, I still say they could have handled Dwayne's chapter a lot better if they had introduced some of his issues in the previous installments. Like I said, like say during Lucy's chapter, you found a pill with like a pill bottle that was like something, and you could see what the name of the pill bottle was, but like Dwayne, but like have the name ripped off or blacked out or something, and it has nothing to do, or in fact, not even show his name. You just see a pill bottle and you think, oh, that had to do with Lucy and her problems. And then in Dolores's chapter, like she didn't drink or anything, but you could find like a bunch of beer bottles somewhere, and it was just like, oh, what the fuck are these beer bottles? Like, just kind of plant the seed in your mind that it's not, everything is not the way it seemed. So, I don't know. They could have handled it better. One of the things I did like in Dwayne's chapter was that chick that constantly calls at the very beginning of every chapter. You find that she murked the shit out of her husband. Because her husband was on the same boat that fucking Dwayne was on, where he was just sitting around drinking, watching TV, not doing nothing with his life. She got sick of the shit and she fucking murked him. Because you find a comic book where she's like calling it all nervous and whatever. And he's like dead in a bathtub. And it was just like, oh, she fucking murked that motherfucker. She was sick of the shit and fucking murked him. So, and then I think she calls Dwayne talking shit or something. I was just kind of like, oh, well, bitch, you can't even be talking. You fucking murked your husband. So how the fucked up pot gonna call the fucked up kettle fucked up? So, no. But I enjoyed that part. But as a whole, Dwayne's chapter was really the weakest, and I'm just kind of like, it felt like a bad all that for that moment where it was just like, oh. But as a whole, I liked the Rincon's chapter, I liked Dolores' chapter, Lucy's chapter was fine, and Dwayne's chapter was kind of like weak tea, but it's fine. So overall, I liked Visage. I thought it was a good ride. Visage came around shortly after their whole, when fucking Silent Hills imploded and Konami was like, fuck y'all, we never gonna do Silent Hills, y'all can go to hell, basically. They might as well have put out a press release that said that we're never coming out with Silent Hills, so fuck y'all kids, cause you get nothing, and ha ha ha. So, cause that's pretty much what it felt like for a lot of people. I'm just like, Konami, you just fell the fuck off. What the fuck happened? Y'all fell off, but whatever. So this would happen, and then it was them originally and Allison Road, which I don't know what the fuck happened with Allison Road. That was gonna do something. Then they had all these like people that was behind it. Then everybody that was behind it all suddenly pulled out and was like, fuck this. And then dude was gonna work on it by himself. That was the last time anybody heard anything about Allison Road, was literally 2017. Like 3 fucking years ago. Not a peep since. So I guess Visage had to come in and scoop it up. And originally Visage was really looking like a looping hallway situation, which I ain't gonna lie, I'm so tired of those. People don't do them, generally don't do them well, and it's always a fiasco. There was a looping train hallway one I watched recently. That was interesting. I can't remember what the name of it was, but that was interesting, but it's still a looping hallway situation. And unless you're going to do something, add something new or innovative to that, please stop doing it, because no one can handle the looping hallway situation. No one's ever going to handle the looping hallway like PT did. It was weird, it was creepy, but then when you found out it was Silent Hill, it was like, oh, dude is in that fucked up Silent Hill situation, so that goddamn makes sense. But when you just have a looping hallway to have a looping hallway, to have, ooh, spooky time, ooh, it doesn't really work. So, unless you're going to do something new with it, please don't do it. But Visage came out around the time that Silent Hills imploded, and Konami told everybody, suck a dig, and they took it and made something really amazing. They took it from that dumb, well, not dumb, but they took it from that cliched looping hallway thing and turned it into something really amazing. Even though I didn't agree with the end, like, the ending was alright, but again, Dwayne was the weakest one. Oh Lord. Sorry, some message came up and I don't have my glasses on right now, so it's hard to see. But even though Dwayne's was the weakest one, Rincon was good, Dolores was good, Lucy was serviceable, and Dwayne was weak too, but I'll take it. Overall, I liked Visage. It's worth a play or a watch. I was going to try to watch somebody play the whole enchilada, but I really don't want to sit there for 5 hours with that. Like, I'm straight, so yeah, that's what's going on with that. Check it out if you need to check it out, because it's good. It's just the end just left me a little on the flattish side. So, lastly, The Last of Us TV show that's gonna be on HBO. I don't know when the fuck it's coming out, but it's gonna be on HBO. I ain't gonna lie, the trailer looked good. A lot of the imagery that because I watched it and I was started to watch it and I was like, wait, let me bring my husband in here to see this. And I was like, you might want to watch this. So he came in and he was like, yeah, some of this looked like the game. But again, I am a salty bitch about that sequel. I am going to be a salty bitch about that sequel for a while, because as a fucking whole, I don't know what I was expecting, but I know it just wasn't what I was looking for. And one of the main things that I never mentioned, that I kept meaning to mention, is while I was watching The Last of Us Part 2, the roommate that we had at the time, she would sit there and watch. She sat there and came in and out watching The Last of Us Part 2 and was just like, this is not good. That same night, I was like kind of confused about The Last of Us Part 2. I went back and watched The Last of Us Part 1. She sat through that whole thing, and it was me, my husband, and her in our bedroom watching that, and she was just riveted the whole time I was watching Part 1. When she was like, Part 2 is terrible. This first part is really, really good. What the fuck happened to Part 2? I was like, I don't fucking know what happened to Part 2. It just died. It died in a very, very tragic grease fire. So that's how I know it's not just me. And I keep trying to think, like, maybe it is me. Maybe I'm just fucking stupid. Maybe I'm making up shit. And I keep watching reviews, even up to this fucking day, where people are like, this is a hot mess. And I'm like, okay, it's not just me, but I feel like it's just me. And the best one I have is in my favorites. It's some guy named Nakey Jakey. And the last word he has on it is fucking brilliant. He says, quote, in The Last of Us Part 1, I became Joel. In The Last of Us Part 2, I became Ellie. And in The Last of Us Left Behind, I became Ellie. He was like, The Last of Us Part 1, I became Joel. The Last of Us Part 2, Left Behind, I became Ellie. In The Last of Us Part 2, I became disappointed. And I'm just like, exactly. So, yeah, I'm gonna be a salty bitch about that. Coupled with the fact that even though the show looks poppin' as fuck, I remember seeing months ago they're gonna have elements from Part 2 in Part 1. In the show. And I'm just like, Neil Druckmann, why you playing? Why are you playing? Nobody, with the exception of a handful of reviewers, liked Part 2. Please don't do it. Just pretend that Part 2 does not exist. Don't do it. Because if you're going to throw Abby into it and then try to make me feel bad about Abby again, it's not going to go down for you, man. I don't care about Abby. Again, stop trying to make Abby happen. It's not going to happen for her. And I feel bad. She might be like a real popping character. I will never fucking watch that part ever as long as I live, because I don't care. You didn't make me care. You introduced her all lopsided and fucked up and then tried to force feed her down my damn throat, and I just barfed all over you, which is perfectly acceptable because you force fed me some bullshit that I didn't ask for. So, I don't know how I'm going to watch it because HBO does not function in Germany. So I'm going to get me a VPN so I can get some HBO so I can watch it and be like, okay, maybe they like lied to me and maybe it doesn't have anything to do with Part 2. Please, Jesus, don't let that be the thing, because if it is, I'm going to be sad, and I'm going to cry, and I'm going to stop. I'm going to get, actually, I'm not going to be sad. I'm going to be angry, because that second game wasted my fucking time, and even though I ain't even watched the whole thing, and I can't do it. So, we'll see. We'll just see. It looked popping, though. Please don't misconstrue that. I'm not saying y'all don't need to watch it. Do what you need to do for you. I will more than likely watch it. I'm kind of like, we'll see, motherfucker. In Resident Evil news, I missed all of that. I think they're doing a reboot of the movies, which they need to. I think it's supposed to be more in line with what the games were about, but they released a picture of the cast and everybody lost their shit, and I don't quite understand what the fuck happened. So since I'm late to that party, fuck that news. So that is all I have for right now. And I don't even know. So I will see y'all around at some point, because we're about to get into Dead City. Now, it's something about PlayStation. I am not getting a PlayStation 5. I'm not getting an Xbox. And even if we got an Xbox, I'm definitely not playing it. So I don't fucking know. But there's some video game news at some point. So I don't know. And I will talk to y'all at that point. All right? Later.